Welcome to Small Arms Solutions. Today we're going to be talking about the Tavor. As you may or may not know, there's two different models of the Tavor. You have what we refer to as the TAR-21, which is what you see here, which is the original version. And you have what's called the X95 series. Well, we happen to have both here. We're going to start off here with this video on the actual TAR-21, and then the next video will be on the X95. Now, the version you see here is probably what you refer to as more of the original Tavor. This started around 1995 in Israel with IWI. They were looking to design a weapon in-house that they were hoping to have adopted by the IDF to replace the M16s and the M4s. They were looking for a rifle that was going to be more durable and more reliable than the M16 M4 series, particularly in that desert environment. When they did their research, they were looking at the bullpup design. A bullpup meaning you have the trigger mechanism and the magazine being behind the pistol grip. A lot of what they do over in Israel is going to be close quarter battle. It's going to be city fighting. It's going to be mounted or mounted infantry. And they definitely found that the bullpup rifles are much easier to move in and out. They're easier to maneuver with. So this was the design that they went with. So as design went forward from 1995 forward, around 2001, in that area, and there is where the actual trials took place, where they competed or compared the new Tavor up against the M16s and M4s. And according to the Israelis, what their testing results were, that it far beat out the M16 M4 in both durability and reliability. The goal was to have the entire IDF or the entire Israeli Defense Forces equipped with this new rifle. Well, as you see from the news right now, you're still going to see a lot of M16s and M4s. The U.S. government has given Israel quite a few M16A1s and M16 carbines through the years, as well as foreign military sales. We'll see a lot of M4s. So I don't necessarily think you're going to see the M16 M4 being completely wiped out of use with the IDF. But Israel has been since the 50s, they've been very much interested in being able to produce their own equipment, their own weapons. The Galil was the first Israeli-designed military rifle that they had, and it was a look at the Finnish Valmet versus some of the M16 features, and they took it together. That's evolved down to the Galil Ace, which we've talked about in this series. But the Tavor was really one they were looking at to equip the entire IDF. Looking at the rifle itself, we have a few accessories on here also. This is my personal Tavor. I like the original one. The new X95, as we'll see in later videos, it's got some enhancements which would be good for some people, but I actually like the original rifle. We're going to take a look at this thing from side to side here. Starting with the barrel here, we have a Cold Hammer forged barrel. It's a 1 7/8 twist. And it's chrome plated, so basically you have the best of all worlds. These do come in 18 inches and they come shorter as well. This particular rifle is an American produced one. For the longest time, actually I think it was right up until the early 2000s or maybe even later 2000s, these were only available in Canada. They were actually Israeli made rifles that were available to Canadian shooters. Because of the issues with the American assault weapon ban and 22R and all that good shit, we had a hard time getting them into this country. Well, IWI out of Pennsylvania is now manufacturing these rifles in-house. You do have, of course, many of your parts coming from Israel, but you have necessary American-made parts to make the guns legal here. But when you actually look at an Israeli rifle versus an American one, you can't tell the difference. The quality is the exact same. The fit and finish is the exact same. You just won't be able to tell the difference. So again, we talked about the barrel. We have a standard A2 style compensator on here. Again, this is a 16.5 inch barrel. You have the cocking handle up here. This is a non-reciprocating cocking handle. So when you fire, it does not go back and forth. You have two QD points on here. This is on both left and the right hand side. Now the bipod you see on here is made by Fab Defense. This is pretty neat because it deploys with use of a button. Push that button in, you can fold it in. And then by hitting the button here, it deploys. This is an aftermarket enhancement that you can get. This was gotten from the Mako group. They have a lot of these kind of enhancements. On this particular model, you have a continuous 1913 rail on the top, and then on the right-hand side, you have one as well. I actually have attached this sight myself, this flashlight myself. It's an Inforce. You have a continuous, or by flipping a lever over, you can have it just by touching the pressure pad. Now it fits pretty good. I mean, it's I have a rather large hand, so when I lift up, I can actually grab a hold of it. And as you can see, the ejection ports to the rear, which is what a bullpup is. Now the way this is designed, it can be reversed. You see we have an ejection port cover over here. By swapping out a few parts in here, you can turn this into a fully ambidextrous rifle. The safety itself, which is located right here, as you will see, you have a longer arm and a shorter arm. It can be reversed depending on whether you're left-handed or right-handed. The bolt catch and magazine release are all to the rear. The magazine that came with this rifle is actually one of the CAA Israeli ones. This particular magazine has the front window, which is sort of similar in a little ways to the Magpul bag level, but it's a little bit different. Synthetic magazine. This is designed for any STANAG U.S. military magazine. Now, I've tested pretty much anything you can imagine in this thing so far. USGI, PMags, you pretty much name it. This thing has not been choosy with magazines whatsoever. So to show you a little here, you have the magazine release in the front. Now the actual bolt catch is in the rear. So basically all you do is you tap that forward. Now the trigger itself is probably the most difficult part to this entire weapon system. This trigger was pretty brutal. I actually have some trigger notes that were put down here, so I'm going to be referring to them through this. This thing has an 8 3/4 inch pound trigger pull on it, or this particular one is what it measured at. And for as far as accurate type shooting, that really did affect it. Now, this rifle has gained a lot of popularity here in the United States, and that has caused some of the aftermarket manufacturers to come out with improved trigger components. And we actually have 3 of them here, and I've tested all 3 of them. And I have to say, all 3 of them are a massive improvement over the original. In this rifle, we have the shooting sight. This one right here. This is a 2-stage unit here, and that actually went around 7.5 pounds. So you decrease from 8 3/4 to 7.5. Then we went to the Timney. The Timney is actually a single-stage trigger, and that was just at 6 pounds. And the other one we tested was the Geissele Super Saber, and that came in at 4 3/4 pounds. Now, I actually like all of these. I can't say anything negative about any of them. I will be saying that this Geissele will be staying in this gun. I like it just a little bit on the lighter side. Geissele has also done something else as well to improve this. They actually have what they call the trigger bow, which is actually another trigger that's dropped into here that works alongside this, and it will also decrease it some more in weight. I haven't really gotten around to installing that yet, but the trigger packs themselves are not cheap. You're looking at $200-300, easy for any of these. But I certainly will say that it's well worth it. Now these trigger packs work in the TAR-21s as well as the X95s. It's not dependent on what model. This is a drop-in unit, and when we go over the disassembly of this, we're going to show you how these are installed. The rifle also was designed with iron sights as well. They actually fit right into the rail, your front sight, and your rear sight. Now, the optic that's chosen on here is the Meprolight True Dot RDS Pro. This is actually an optic that was approved for use and in use with the IDF on their rifles. Extremely durable, well made. This also came from the Mako group. They're not really all that expensive. They're around $300, and I definitely say they're comparable, as good if not better than any aim point that you're going to come across. If you also notice with these sights are engaged, you have total co-witness. So if your battery was to die in your red dot, you'd be able to still utilize your sights. Now also, all of these IWI rifles, the Tavors, even the Gallo Aces, they have a tritium night sight in the front sight post, which can be adjusted, and that's also a really good benefit for the nighttime shooting. This rifle was very well thought out. Pretty much anything that you could come up with, the Israelis did. Another product that I found that worked really well with this tool was put out by Shooting Sight Technology, and this is referred to as the TAV tool. Now, there are several parts on here to disassemble. You're going to need specialized tools. First and foremost is the barrel itself. The Tavor is set up so you could actually change out barrel calibers. As of right now, you can swap barrels out to 9mm and 300 blackout. And basically to do that, you have a wrench that fits into this slot right here, and that's what unlocks the barrel. We're going to go over the basic disassembly of this thing. No tools are needed. Normally all it's needed is actually a projectile tip, but we're going to go over that right now, the disassembly. So for basic field stripping, first thing we're going to do is check to make sure we're clear, which we are. Now we're going to take a suitable tool. Normally a cartridge case, or a bullet tip is used. We're going to push inward. This pin is actually captive, and we can pull the bolt mechanism right out. And as you can see right in the front, we have the piston, we have the bolt carrier, we have multi-lugs here as well. Now this is actually as far as it goes for field stripping under normal conditions. There is you can do some additional field stripping in this as well, which is a matter of taking a tool, pushing inward, and popping this pin out, and then everything comes out. We're not really going to bother doing that because it's just not something that you normally have to do, due to the fact that this is extremely it's an external piston, which means you don't really get a lot of garbage inside of the receiver or inside of the bolt, so it's not really as necessary. Now to remove the trigger pack itself, we do the same thing. We take a suitable tool, again captive, lift that right up, and this is the one that comes with it. And as you can see, the parts actually around it are steel, but it has a polymer housing. Now again, when you compare this trigger to the other three that you see here, this is definitely by far a much heavier, much more grainy, military grade trigger. For a soldier, it's perfectly fine. For somebody who wants to do a little bit more target work, not so much. But looking at the Timney, I forgot the shooting sight, as well as the Geissele, these are just in a league of their own. They all have different design to them as well. I've just become very prone to Geissele, and I think that's just because I use Geissele on many of my guns. I have several Geissele triggers in my Scar 16, Scar 17. I've got them in several ARs. It's just because something that I use regularly. Taking nothing away from the other two, I would definitely recommend any of them. Now to reassemble that trigger mechanism, we pull upward on the bolt catch itself, and we're going to reinstall the Geissele. Drop in like so. It's going to close. Install the bolt carrier mechanism. Drop it in like so. All we do is we drop the butt head over, snap it in place, just like so. I'm going to talk a little about the Israeli philosophy with ammunition. Now, Israel, their primary load is actually going to be the M193 ball. Granted, they do have a lot of M16A1s in stock still. However, a lot of what the Israelis seem to feel is that the M193 is a far more terminal performance effects than the M855. So your primary round you're going to see actually in use in Israel is going to be the M193 ball. However, they do use the M855 ball. More of their special forces will use them for various applications. Myself, I tend to agree with that. I do believe that the M193 has better terminal performance than the M855, not to mention the accuracy. These rifles here are known to be very accurate. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I think that these things are as accurate as an M4. Most of my M4s I have here will outshoot this. There's no question. Some of the ammunition that we're going to be testing with this thing is going to include the 77 grain OTM, the Black Hills Mark 262. I've got several different kinds of M193 and some M855. But for as far as the way this rifle works, we're going to see more of this in the actual video. If you were to have to move from left to right with this rifle, even though your cheek's back here, your cheek's not going to get away in the way of the cartridge case. As we talk, as many of you guys know, the 5.56 and the 223 are different. Your actual port pressures are higher in the 5.56. You do get higher bolt velocity, and pretty interestingly enough, you'll see it with this gun. When you fire a standard M193 5.56 or MA55 5.56, when that cartridge case comes back, it's going to hit this cartridge case deflector and it's going to bounce forward. What you're going to find with quite a bit of the 223 ammunition with the lower port pressure, and God knows you're going to find it with the Wolf, is that cartridge is going to actually come right past here. Instead of it bouncing forward, it's going to just leak past here and go this way. And what that is caused by the differences in the chamber pressure. This is another reason why you don't see me using Wolf 223 ammunition. This thing was designed around 5.56 NATO, and when you do that, regardless of whether you are here, it's going to bounce forward rather than hit you in the face, or here, it's going to bounce forward as well. It's not going to come anywhere near your face. That will show you that ammunition does make a difference in the ways many guns are actually function. And this is just a simple way that you're going to be able to see the differences between what 5.56 and 223 REM are. But for as far as its utilization in combat, this thing has been used by many, many countries. In fact, most of the countries who have bought these, they bought them for their special forces. You won't really see too many militaries out there that use this as their primary assault rifle. You will, however, find a lot of countries that the special forces that do utilize them. Now, the TAR-21 in the Israeli military has been replaced by the new X95. I'm sure you will still see the 21s in inventory in various barrel lengths and configurations. The goal for the Israeli military is to have the X95 replace everything in the inventory at some point. Again, just due to the size of the IDF, how many weapons are utilized by IDF, I still see the M16 and M4s being utilized for quite some time to come. You know, as far as bullpup designs, you know, I have to say I've never really been a fan, you know, and it's more of a psychological than anything else. The fact that when you fire one of these, that your cheek is sitting under 55,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. Now, that has nothing to do with the durability and reliability of the gun. It's probably more of a personal thing. But I have to say, due to the fact that I do enjoy this rifle so much, I am getting over that. Another interesting thing about this gun is suppressed. One of the things about the suppressed guns, these bullpup guns, is you get what's referred to as the Tavor face. What the Tavor face is a nice big black splotch you get in your face from all the gas coming out and actually hitting you in the face. That's one of the issues that you do have with bullpups, and it doesn't matter whether you're talking about the Tavor, the British SA-80, or the French FAMAS, or the Steyr AUG. Just by having your face that close to it, you tend to get a little bit more blowback when you utilize the suppressors. Again, because you're overpressuring the system, you got that much more pressure that's coming out of the ejection port, so you're going to feel that much more gas with it. I have not suppressed this rifle, so I can't really give you any first-hand experience on it. It does not have an actual gas valve on it itself, so it's going to be overgassed. Yeah, and actually, I don't really have too much intention of putting any suppressors on this thing. Yeah, I like it the way that it is. You know, those are some of the issues that you will come across with with a bullpup design with a Canon. You will get more of that in your face. I have actually also seen where the cover on the left-hand side, or whichever side you have it on, that will actually get blown out too, due to some of the overpressure that's caused by the suppressors. The balance of this thing is actually quite well. All your weight is in the rear, so it's extremely comfortable for you to be able to hold. These are all things that I never really appreciated about one of these guns until I actually had a chance to spend some time with it. It's actually very comfortable, for me to utilize the cocking handle. It fits me perfect. My hand coming up, I have long arms. It works quite well for me. Overall, my impressions of this rifle are wow. I like it. We've waited a long time here in the United States to actually be able to get these. IWI out of Pennsylvania, as fast as they can make them, they're selling them. They utilize them in several different configurations. They're selling them in 9mm, they're selling them in 300 blackout, 5.56. They configure them on left or right hand sides. They have different barrel lengths. For law enforcement, they do also have selective fire versions. The cost is not cheap. You're looking around $2,000 for one of these. I have to say, I don't think that price is too far off for what you're getting. You can get them in different colors as well. I prefer black. I've never really subscribed or gotten into the flat dark earth or the green. I like black rifles. So the one I requested was actually black. But you can get them in the flat dark earth. You can get them in olive drab. There's quite a bit of a market out there for accessories. Again, this was an accessory. The bipod that you see here, again, Matco Group. You can also get a 1913 rail that comes in the front here. That's so you can put a vertical pistol grip on it if you want. You have multiple triggers. There are a few other gadgets that you can get for it as well. I think this rifle is going to do very well here in the States. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to take this out to the range and we're going to see how she fires. We're going to put a few shots through the Tavor TAR-21. You can also notice we have a Mepro Light, which is also an Israeli-made red dot sight. This is specifically one that was adopted by the Israeli Defense Force. We have an Enforced Light, I believe, is the manufacturer of that. And we also have a Fab Defense podium for the TAR-21, which is it's a bipod. And I have to say, I've come to appreciate that quite a bit. The ammunition we're using is ZQI 62 grain 5.56 NATO. I hope you all enjoyed this video. You can look forward to coming up in the very near future video covering the X95. And we're also going to talk in that video about what the actual changes are from the TAR-21 over to the X95. We're going to be seeing some more bullpup guns too. I've had some viewers who have offered to loan me one of these Steyr AUGs. I have had some on order as well. So we're going to be seeing another one of those as well, and we're going to see what else we can get. We're going to try to bring you a lot of different variety of guns coming up, not just ARs, a lot of the other types of rifles as well. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please like and please subscribe and share. Thank you.